Kids these days have no clue. Do you remember these? A blast from the past that will have kids scratching their heads, and wait until the last one. Seriously, it's lunacy. We love our modern technology, don't we? It would have been hard to imagine a few years ago that nowadays, even in some of the world's poorest areas, kids are sitting at home with smartphones, amazing little mobile computers that fit in the palm of your hand. Star Trek is with us right now. But when I watch my kids watching hour after hour of vloggers doing their makeup, I sometimes pine for a simpler time when we came away from the screen and entertained ourselves with things which actually developed us as human beings. So much is learned through play, crafting, drawing, building, and here are a few mysterious little items which I bet you could show most kids today and they would have no idea what they are. Do you know what they are? Let us know in the comments. Okay, here's the first one. This funny little object harks back to a simpler time. A time when if you wanted to hear your favourite song, you couldn't just hit YouTube. You had a couple of choices. Either live with the radio on in the hope that it would eventually be played, or save your pocket money, walk to the shop and buy the album on vinyl. And they were expensive, do you remember? An album cost the same 30 years ago as it does today. Well, I must confess that I knew what this was, and I'm very proud to say that I've used one. This extremely clever, handy little device is a needle threader for use when sewing by hand. The way it works is instead of struggling to thread a tiny bendy frayed piece of cotton through the eye of a needle, which is tricky even for the most experienced sewer, you poke that tiny pointy but flexible diamond-shaped wire through the needle, which is much easier. Then when it's in, you thread your cotton through the wire diamond shape, which is much bigger and so much easier, and then pull it back through the needle. Voila! Very clever, and a real lifesaver if the eyes are getting a little fuzzy in the old age. The next one here, though, this had me baffled, I must confess. But there's a connection with the last one. When I first saw it, I thought they were guitar plectrums, and then I felt sure I recognised it from somewhere. Something to do with sport? But no, this is simply tailor's chalk. It's a special flat shape so that the line stays the same thickness even when it wears down, and it's for marking out the pattern so you can see where to cut on fabric. This next one's a bit easier, I think. There are plenty of manufacturers who still use lift-off caps, but I must admit I've never heard them called church keys. Did you ever hear of these bottle openers being called church keys? Brings a different meaning to going to church. However, I think we're right in saying that younger people and children might not be able to figure it out. How many kids' drinks use lift-off caps which require a bottle opener nowadays? Next up, we have a proper brain teaser. Show me anyone under 30 who can figure out what this is and I'll show you a genius. How could you possibly work it out unless you've used one? Well, back in the day, there were two different ways of playing records. Either in a jukebox where they're stacked and the records have a bigger hole, or at home where they have a little hole to sit on your spindle. Also, I believe in the good old US of A, they came new without the middle part at all. So if you wanted to play a 7-inch single at home, you had to pop one of these adapters in the middle of your record to make it fit on your turntable. Do you remember using these? I remember mine going missing and trying to line it up perfectly without the adapter. It didn't work. And last, but by no means least, we have the one item that no self-respecting fitness fanatic would dare be seen in, the Wonder Sauna hot pants. I mean, really, when I look at these things, I just groan. Did anybody actually buy these things? The idea here is that for your convenience, you can wear these delightful pants while going about your daily business, allowing the gross, sweaty heat to simply melt the fat away. Unbelievable and real. To think this unscrupulous company went to all the effort of design, manufacture, advertising and distribution without giving a second thought to whether or not the product actually did anything at all. Simply a barefaced brazen scam. It's astonishing that they were allowed to get away with it. When I think of scammers nowadays, I think of criminals at least making some effort to go unseen and cover their tracks. These people were simply right up in your face, taking your money, outright lying. Or were they? Maybe I'm wrong. Did you ever buy a pair of Wonder Sauna hot pants? Were they the best purchase you ever made as you watched those burgers simply melt away? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share the insanity with your friends and family.